Do you need a videographer for your wedding? I feel like that's a common question that brides often ask themselves, especially if they are on a budget. In today's video, I have a special guest with me to talk about the benefits of videography. Before we get started, for those of you who are new here, welcome. I'm Jess and I am the lead planner at Not Just a Planner. I have had the pleasure of working alongside Dave Dutera, who is a world famous wedding planner and has had much success in the wedding planning industry. So here in this channel, I am here to bring you advice, tips, and tricks on all things event planning. So make sure you subscribe so that you tune in to the best advice here in this channel. I interviewed one of the best videographers that I know, and his name is Jonathan Marquez, and he and I had a really good talk, probably about an hour and a half to 2 hours long. So in this video, I'm cutting it down to the most important parts that you need to know as a bride. Make sure you have your pen and paper out so that way you'll be able to take notes, because these are really, really good golden nuggets. Now let's dive into the replay. We're here today to talk about wedding videography. A lot of my brides have the same question, which is, do we need a wedding videographer? Well, today we are here to answer that question for you. Today I am joined with Jonathan Marquez. He is the founder and the lead shooter at Venture Outbound Films. He has been a wedding videographer for quite some time now in Southern California and recently won Best of Weddings Award from The Knot. So thank you so much, Jonathan, for being here.
Hi, Jess. Yeah, thank you so much for that wonderful intro. I'm so excited to be here and to talk about all things wedding videography and to help your brides decide whether wedding videography is something that they need or not.
We're happy to have you. So let's dive right into this. So many of my brides ask, is video something they should even be considering when planning out their budget for their wedding? Most of my couples for sure consider a photographer, but is video something they should also be considering?
Well, I really think that's something that's going to depend on the couple. For some, documenting every single moment of their wedding day is super important to them, but for others, it's not. For the ones who it is important to, they'll want to go back and relive the entire day as it was, because it's probably going to be the best day of their lives, right? Photos are great, but in the end, what you're looking at is a 400th of a second in time, right? Because that's how photographers take their photos. It's just a really quick snapshot of a second of a moment in time. And so with video, you'll actually be able to go back and relive those moments in its entirety from start to finish.
Okay, so what you're saying is video isn't for everyone?
Right, yeah. So video is for only the couples who are truly interested in preserving their wedding. And that's something else that I want to touch on is that having a videographer will make sure that all of the raw emotions of the day were preserved forever. So, this is something huge that a lot of brides don't think about. It's going to be the greatest day of your life, right? And so there's going to be a lot of emotion. You're going to be smiling. You're going to be laughing. You're going to be crying tears of happiness, right? Those moments are going to happen. And I really hate to talk about this next part, but having a wedding video is going to preserve the people that were there celebrating with you. I know it's hard to think about, but your loved ones won't always be with us. Someday they're going to move on, and you being able to look back at your wedding video to see them celebrating with you is something truly special to have. It can be super emotional going back and watching your wedding film, but moments like that are worth capturing. When you watch your wedding video, you'll be happy because there's going to be a lot of moments in there that you missed throughout the day. I know that a lot of brides don't know this, but their wedding day is probably going to be one of the funnest, best roller coaster rides that they're ever going to be on. And that's because they're getting pulled in this direction and that direction and this direction, and they're going to be moving all over the place just because it's such a busy day. And in all the hustle and bustle of the day, there's definitely going to be moments that you missed. And so having a videographer there to capture those moments and bring them back to life and put them in your wedding film is another incredible advantage that you'll have by hiring a videographer. Now, I know that we've talked about the actual wedding day, but what about after? Well, a lot of our couples share that they go back and rewatch their wedding video on their anniversaries to relive the day. I think it's so special that they go back and they rewatch the day that they got married, the day that they, said to everybody, hey, this is my partner. I want to be with this person for the rest of my life. And they made a decision to move forward, to be together for the rest of their lives. I think that's fantastic. It's a great way for our couples to go back and kind of rekindle the love that they have for each other. And it's something that I absolutely love. And we also get that a lot of our couples will share their video with everybody, with their family, with their kids. And I think it's so crazy to think that the wedding video turns into a family heirloom that gets passed down from generation to generation, right? So think about your children's children seeing the day that their grandparents got married, right? It's just so crazy to think about.
Yeah, totally. I mean, every single time I watch a video, I kid you not, I shed a happy tear because you can tell a story through a great video.
Right.
I know that you must hear this question all the time. I even hear it as a planner, but what are some things that brides should actually ask a videographer if they're considering hiring one?
Well, there's a few things that we should really focus on here. Before brides get on the phone with a videographer, I think it's important to spend a little bit of time watching wedding videos. So going on YouTube, just typing in wedding videos and seeing what you find. I think it's super important to figure out what type of video that brides want, whether it be like a super cinematic style or more of a documentary style. We personally take more of a linear approach to our wedding day. And so that means that, at the start of the wedding day to the end of the wedding day, that's how the video is going to play out. So you're going to start getting ready, and then at the end of the video, it'll end with your grand exit, or dancing or some fun from the end of the night. But other wedding videographers, will choose to kind of take a more creative route where they're kind of jumping back and forth to focus on the actual fun of the day, like the exciting moments. And so when you do figure out what type of film you'd like to have, that's when it's a good idea to reach out to a few videographers that match that style. And when you're speaking to them, it's important to have a couple questions in mind. So one of the first questions that you should ask your videographer is, how is the music for the film selected? Music choice is huge in the wedding videography industry, and it's so important because it can either make or break your film. And so you want to make sure that your videographer knows what types of genre of music that you listen to, so that the film ends up turning into something that you would want to watch. If you like rock music and they put rap music in there, it's definitely not a film that's made for you. So you want to make sure that you hash that out beforehand. Another tip that you might want to consider is that your wedding videographers should be licensing their music. Websites like MusicBed, Artlist, Premium Beat, Soundstripe, these are all websites where your videographer can license music for your film. If your videographer doesn't use one of these websites, you could end up in trouble for using the song when it's not licensed. Another question that comes to mind is how your videographer is going to record the audio from your ceremony. Audio is incredibly important when it comes to your wedding film. You want to make sure the videographer has a plan to record the audio during your ceremony, your vows, even the reception, to capture the toasts. So the most common audio setup is for a videographer to place a small hidden microphone on the groom during the ceremony, and to also connect a recorder to the soundboard that your DJ will typically provide. Oftentimes, your videographer will need to coordinate with the DJ or with the venue in order to make this happen. So make sure that they have a plan for that. Another question that you should ask your videographer is how long it'll take to get your completed film. This is a good question to ask because editing your wedding video can take some serious time, especially during wedding season, typically between May and October. Many videographers book up during that time, so back-to-back weddings. And so you want to make sure you know how soon you'll receive your wedding video so that you aren't waiting around for months and months and months to relive your special day. Another question you want to ask your videographer is, how is the film being delivered? Your videographer is going to have a preferred method of delivering your wedding film, and often it's delivered digitally. But some videographers will offer other options such as DVD or Blu-ray, so you want to make sure you know how your videographer is going to deliver your final film. Another question that you'll want to ask your videographer is if they're insured. This is a good question to ask because a lot of venues are going to require $1 million general liability policy in place. And so that's to ensure that the videographer, if something happens, if he accidentally damages something or trips somebody, ends up hurting somebody, that you and the venue are protected. The last thing that you want to do is get billed for a videographer's mistake. Okay, and the last question that you want to make sure that you ask your videographer is a link to some reviews. Your wedding day is going to be one of the most important days of your life, and so you want to make sure that the venue vendors that you choose are highly recommended by other couples. Now, these couple reviews are gold because they've actually gone through an entire wedding day with your vendor. If there were any problems, any issues, if they were good, if they were bad, they're going to tell you about them. So you want to make sure that you find reviews on the vendor that you're considering hiring.
Oh my God, all of these are literally gold. Any bride out here, if you're watching this video, I really hope that you are taking notes, and if not, replay this whole video again, get your notebook and pen out, because these are golden nuggets you will not hear from other videographers most likely. Jonathan, I do want to keep this short and sweet, but are there any other, tips or anything else that brides should know?
Yeah, so my last tip is when hiring a videographer, go with your gut. Right? When you're on the phone talking with them, you should be super excited to work with them. If they've done their job right, it'll feel like you guys are best friends. And it's super important, especially on your wedding day. You want to be surrounded with people who are caring, who are supportive, and who are passionate about making sure that your day is special. So if the videographer or any other vendor that you're talking to doesn't give you a good feeling, it's best to keep searching and move on.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Thank you so much, Jonathan. Of course, I've really enjoyed working with you. And it really takes a special videographer who really understands all of these elements when it comes to the wedding day. I wanted to know, how do people find you if they want more information?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Jess. Absolutely. So my company is called Venture Outbound Films. We can be found at www.ventureoutbound.com, venture_outbound on Instagram, or you can email me directly at jonathan@ventureoutbound.com. So those are ways to get in contact with us, but it has been so much fun, Jessica. Thank you so much for having me. I've really enjoyed this. I can come back anytime you want.
Thank you so much, of course. And for all of you brides there, I will link it in the description below. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have a good one. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up, and then also subscribe. Comment below to let me know which one was your favorite tip about the whole video on wedding videography. If you know of any other videos that you would like to see in the future, also comment that below. I will see you guys at the next video. Bye!